beginnings, SCMS Group of Educational Institutions have grown into a distinguished institution that continually strives to elevate educational standards.
To mark the beginning of this golden journey, we are honored to host the 5th Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Commemorative Annual Lecture Series by an eminent personality whose wisdom and achievements resonate deeply with our legacy and aspirations.
As we celebrate this golden milestone, let us not only reflect on the remarkable journey so far, but also look ahead with renewed enthusiasm and a shared determination to continue inspiring excellence in the years to come.
On behalf of the SCMS family, I, Leander John Rodrigues,
and I, Nikita Sunil, welcome each and every one of you to the lecture series. Let us begin this auspicious occasion by seeking Almighty's blessing.
Over to Maria Joseph and Reshma Ramesh for the prayer.
Mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet, sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet.
Please be seated. Today, we have a new beginning, a new start to learning, listening, and getting inspired by the people who has explored the unexplored, paved the untrodden path to success. To bear witness and share in the joy of that moment, we have with us eminent dignitaries. To accord a warm welcome to all the distinguished guests present here, to Dr. Pradip P. Thevannoor Commemorative Annual Lecture Series, we invite Dr. Radha Thevannoor, Registrar and Group Director, SCMS Group of Educational Institutions, to do the honors.
Honorable Chief Guest of the Day, Sri Palanivel Thiaga Rajan, Minister of IT and Digital Services, Government of Tamil Nadu, our Chairman, Dr. G.P. Nair sir, Vice Chairman, Professor Pradeep P. Thevannoor, Group Directors, Dr. Baiju Radhakrishnan, Dr. Praveen Sal CJ, Dr. Indu Nair, other directors and Deputy Director of the group, principals, heads of departments, deans, alumni, our special invitees, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and a warm welcome to SCMS. It is with great honor and pride that we have assembled here to mark the inauguration and launch of the 50th anniversary celebrations of SCMS Group of Educational Institutions and Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor's 5th Commemorative Annual Lecture Series. The first program of SCMS was Public Relations and Journalism, which was launched by our chairman, Dr. G.P. Nair sir, in the year 1976. Over a period of time, we kept adding various courses which were offered in the correspondence mode, like public relations, journalism, advertising, management, etc., to mention a few, and these were unheard of then. Our contact classes and test centers extended far into the Gulf till the early 90s. And then we shifted to the in-person, the full-time courses. The 15 years of SCMS, the initial 15 years of SCMS was spent in delivering courses in the correspondence mode. Our first full-time course, PGDBA, was started in 1992 in our old campus in South Kalamasheri, with an intake of just 30 students. Today, we are proud to have catered to more than 1 lakh of students who are settled in India and abroad, whom we proudly call our alumni. Over the years, we ventured into engineering, management, technology, architecture, commerce, life sciences, to mention a few. To cut the big story of 50 years short, today we offer 35 courses from 5 campuses with a student strength of 5,000. Since inception till date, we survive on a true self-financing, as a self-financing institution with all our growth and achievement, the result of prudent and efficient utilization of tuition fees paid by our students. Today we stand tall with the inauguration of this 50th anniversary. Now let me come to the honor bestowed on me to welcome this august gathering at the very outset. I, on behalf of everybody assembled here, take the privilege of welcoming our chief guest, Sri Palanivel Thiaga Rajan, Minister of IT and Digital Services, Government of Tamil Nadu. Dr. Thiaga Rajan was awarded PhD in Human Factors Engineering by the State University of New York before entering into politics in 2016. Details of Dr. Thiaga Rajan is being read out later by Dr. Praveen CJ. Sir, on behalf of everybody assembled here, we welcome you to our auspicious event. Along with everyone on the dais and those present here, I take this opportunity to welcome our chairman, Dr. G.P. Nair, sir, who's viewing this program online. Sir, you showed us the way, the path to tread on, and we sincerely hope that we are able to live up to your expectations. A warm welcome to you, sir. All the guests and family who are here, who came purely on our invitation, you mean a lot to us. It has been your warmth and support in this long journey that kept us going from day one till date. We, the management and staff of SCMS, wholeheartedly welcome all of you to this landmark event. And yes, our alumni, a proud source of inspiration, watching this program online from different places, and few of you who have represented them and are present here. You made this happen. We are celebrating this event because of you. And to this inaugural function, we welcome all of you and your family members to this campus as well as to this program. Wishing everybody a happy listening and welcome to each and every one of you once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This milestone of 50 years of legacy in academic excellence began as a journey filled with challenges and perseverance. From humble beginnings to current success, it has been achieved by overcoming obstacles, seizing opportunities, reinforcing quality, and upholding integrity and teamwork. Let's watch the video that tells the story of our institution's journey.
SCMS Group owes its incredible journey to one person, Dr. G.P. Nair, the man with the vision who built this powerhouse educational brand from the flash of an idea. And through years of struggle, what began as an institute that offered a correspondence course in journalism and public relations, SCMS has grown to be a prestigious cluster of highly acclaimed institutions renowned for delivering top-tier education. What makes SCMS distinctive is the key role it played in advancing the self-financing education sector and expanding access to professional education. Of course, it was not easy. To make a difference in the education scene in Kerala, Dr. GPC Nair had to overcome countless challenges. Yet, determined and resilient, he strode ahead. SCMS Cochin School of Business has been at the forefront of management education since 1992, igniting minds to create inspiring success stories. The flagship postgraduate diploma in management program develops future-ready leaders with strong industry connections and practical insights. The institution also offers the fellow program in management, designed to empower scholars to contribute to cutting-edge research. SCMS Cochin remains committed to shaping innovative leaders and driving meaningful change in the world of business. Started in 2001 under Mahatma Gandhi University, SCMS School of Engineering and Technology is a pioneering self-financing engineering college. With a vision of providing innovative education and research for shaping techno leaders, SSET offers a range of technical programs. At SSET, excellence meets innovation to shape the future of technology. Since 2003, SCMS School of Technology and Management has been a proud member of the SCMS Group, offering multidisciplinary education and research in management, computer applications, biotechnology, psychology, and commerce. Affiliated with Mahatma Gandhi University, Kerala, SSTM is home to a research center for PhD studies in management, driving social transformation through knowledge. SCMS School of Architecture, established in 2014, is dedicated to synergizing design aesthetics and sustainability. The carefully designed B-Arc curriculum provides a comprehensive study of design, construction, and sustainable urban development, equipping future architects to craft innovative architectural solutions. At SCMS School of Architecture, creativity meets sustainability to shape the world of tomorrow. At SCMS Polytechnic, established in 2016, we are committed to delivering best quality education while shaping students into socially responsible leaders. Offering diploma programs in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering, automobile engineering, and computer engineering, SCMS Polytechnic equips students with skills and expertise to a self-sustaining nation. Since its inception in 2010, SCMS Water Institute is committed to addressing critical environmental challenges related to water. SCMS Water Institute is working towards a sustainable future with secure water for all. Founded in 2023, SCMS Institute for Road Safety and Transportation is driven by a clear vision. Your safety on the road is our mission. The Institute is committed to promoting road safety through innovative education, research, and initiatives aimed at creating safer transportation for all. At SCMS Institute for Road Safety and Transportation, we empower individuals to prioritize safe road practices.
On this auspicious note, we will now have the launch of 50th year anniversary celebrations with lamp lighting ceremony. We invite our Hon'ble Minister to launch the 50th year anniversary celebrations by lighting the lamp of learning. We request all the dignitaries on the dais to join the lighting ceremony. We also request Professor Pradeep P. Thevannoor, Vice Chairman, SCMS Group of Educational Institutions, to join the lamp lighting ceremony.
Thank you, sirs and ma'am. Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor, a visionary, affable yet firm disciplinarian, and an able administrator, was the Vice Chairman of SCMS Group of Educational Institutions and an executive member of the Self-Financing Engineering College Management Association. He is fondly remembered for his unwavering commitment to work, his astute leadership, keen eye for innovation, and encouragement of young minds have earned SCMS significant recognition in the field of R&D. To introduce the Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Commemorative Annual Lecture Series and provide further insights into its significance, we are delighted to invite Dr. Baiju Radhakrishnan, Group Director, SCMS Group of Educational Institutions.
Honorable Minister, Sri Palanivel Thiaga Rajan, respected Chairman, Dr. G.P. Nair, sir, Vice Chairman, Professor Pradeep P. Thevannoor, Group Director and Registrar, Dr. Radha Thevannoor, Group Directors, Dr. Indu Nair, Dr. C.J. Praveen Sal, distinguished guests, friends, colleagues, and my dear students, a very good morning. We are here today for the 5th annual lecture in commemoration of Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor. Commemoration is to connect the past with the present and the future. Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor was the Vice Chairman of SCMS Group of Educational Institutions. He was a great visionary and a source of inspiration for all of us at SCMS Group. A man of fertile imagination and untiring energy, Dr. Pradeep had a clear vision to take the SCMS Group to greater heights in quality and excellence. He was instrumental in establishing the first and internationally recognized water institute in the private sector in the country, the SCMS Water Institute, and was the driving force behind the prestigious Indo-German Water Partnership. Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor has left a mark on us as an outstanding visionary in the field of higher education in the state. Now I invite you to view a brief video on his journey, where he has given more than himself to the purpose, the institution, family, and the society in total.
Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor, educationist, entrepreneur, leader, and a visionary. He spent his childhood in Kochi, and his travel for learning took him places from Kochi to the United States. An alumni of Kerala University and Oklahoma City University, he had joined SCMS Group of Institutions in the early stages of its growth as its vice chairman and guided the destiny of the group, working closely with his mentor father, Dr. G.P.C. Nair. He had varied, intense interests in engineering, biotechnology, and management. He looked at the people and environment around him to devise the learning programs and was keen on developing research to fill the intellectual gap in problems in the society he lived. As a result, the group came out as pioneers in many socio-centric research and development, which led to the development of NIRA, biofuel, and establishment of the Water Institute. A person who has always strived for quality and excellence in life. A person who believed in getting what he wanted through hardcore professionalism. A man of dreams who accomplished his dreams, who believed that nothing happens unless first dreamed. He had elaborate personal network with the corporate, socio-political, and diplomatic titans and establishments nationally and internationally. This facilitated SCMS becoming the institution with the largest number of academic and research tie-up with German universities and industry among Indian academies. Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor, educationist, entrepreneur, leader, a visionary.
Dr. Pradeep left us on November 17, 2014 for heavenly abode. We have since last 9 years instituted an international level innovation award, Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Innovation Awards, to identify and recognize innovative ideas among college and high school students, wherein more than 3,000 competitors from all over the country and abroad participate annually. Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Commemorative Annual Lecture series had been launched in the year of 2019. The first of the series of annual lectures was delivered by the then Honorable Governor of Kerala, Honorable Mr. Justice Sadashivam on the 12th of January 2019 on Youth, the Architects of the Future. And the second edition of the lecture series was delivered by Honorable Judge of High Court of Kerala, Mr. Justice Devan Ramachandran, on the rule of law. Sorry. The third in the series was delivered by Dr. Subramaniam Swamy on prospects of India being a developed country on 23rd January 2023. The fourth commemorative lecture was delivered by Sri Shibu Baby John, former Minister of Kerala, on innovation and entrepreneurship on 23rd January 2024. The fifth, Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Commemorative Annual Lecture in the memory of our beloved Dr. Pradeep is being delivered today by Sri Palanivel Thiaga Rajan, Honorable Minister of Information Technology and Digital Services, Government of Tamil Nadu. He will be talking on technology enables social change, harnessing IT for inclusive development. Let's approach this commemorative lecture with a sense of gratitude, curiosity, and commitment to carry forward the lessons we learned. May the wisdom shared today inspire us to strive for excellence, embrace diversity, and contribute to the ongoing narrative of progress and growth. We hope these lectures will stimulate debate and discussion on various socially relevant themes for an effective country building. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are honored to have with us today Sri Palanivel Thiaga Rajan, Honorable Minister for Information Technology and Digital Services, Tamil Nadu. A distinguished leader and a visionary who has made remarkable contributions to governance, financial management, and digital innovation. With an impressive academic foundation and a stellar career in global finance, our guest is a true embodiment of expertise and transformative leadership. To provide a more comprehensive introduction to our distinguished guest, we invite Dr. Praveen Sal CJ, Group Director, SCMS Group of Educational Institutions.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are privileged to have with us today Dr. Palanivel Thiaga Rajan, the Honorable Minister for Information Technology and Digital Services, Government of Tamil Nadu. A visionary leader and an architect of transformative changes, Dr. PTR has made profound contributions to governance, financial reforms, and digital innovations. His academic achievements are a testament to his outstanding intellect and commitment to excellence. He graduated with a degree in chemical engineering from the National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli, then earned a master's in operations research and a PhD in human factors engineering from the State University of New York at Buffalo. He holds an MBA in financial management from the prestigious MIT Sloan School of Management. Dr. PTR is also a patent holder for the methods and systems for providing structured loan commitment transactions. His distinguished tenure in global finance includes senior leadership roles at some of the world's most prominent institutions. As a managing director at Standard Chartered Bank, he spearheaded critical initiatives in trading and foreign exchange. At Lehman Brothers, he was instrumental in driving the expansions of their offshore operations in Mumbai. In public service, Dr. PTR continues to be a catalyst for changes. As Tamil Nadu's Minister for Information Technology and Digital Services, he is propelling the state into a new era of digital excellence, empowering citizens and shaping the future with unmatched vision and impact. Earlier, as the state's finance minister, he earned widespread acclaim for implementing landmark financial reforms and strengthening Tamil Nadu's economic foundations. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a distinct honor to introduce a trailblazer whose achievements resonate a source of inspiration for all of us, Dr. Palanivel Thiaga Rajan.
Thank you, sir. It is our privilege to invite Dr. Palanivel Thiaga Rajan, Honorable Minister for Information Technology and Digital Services, to deliver the 5th edition of the Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Commemorative Annual Lecture Series on the topic Tech-Enabled Social Change, Harnessing IT for Inclusive Development.
Thank you very much. Dr. G.P.C. Nair, the visionary who founded this large group of institutions, Dr. Pramod Thevannoor, Dr. Radha Thevannoor, Dr. Indra Nair, Dr. Baiju Radhakrishnan, who introduced the lecture series, Dr. Praveen Sal CJ, who gave me a very kind and gracious introduction, the many members of the SCMS group, the management, the faculty, the students, the alumni, all the distinguished guests who have come here this morning for this lecture. I thank you very much for inviting me, for the opportunity to share a few thoughts, and for being part of a series in the memory of a visionary whose contributions were cut short by the twists of fate. I must say that this whole arrangement was done relatively quickly when Dr. Pramod reached out to me. I happened to be traveling to Calicut this afternoon, and so I decided I would come to Kochi for a day. And then we had a talk about what the topic should be. He gave me a couple of choices and I picked one. So if I'm not particularly deep, I apologize ahead of time, but it's a topic very close to my heart. So I think it should be a relatively good fit. But the topic we decided was tech-enabled social change, harnessing information technology for inclusive development. So the first thing I would always start with is, why do we need social change? Well, the basic question, if our society functions relatively properly, why is there always the notion of social change, or the need for it, or the desire for it? And I think in India, in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, we have some unique history that our society was not always relatively equitable, relatively, I won't say non-hierarchical, I don't know how else to say it. It was always a kind of higher and lower system for hundreds or thousands of years. And so in the nature of democracy, in the nature of natural justice, in the nature of all human beings born equal and should get equal opportunity, then we have a reason for change that comes through our history. Recently, a few weeks ago, my Chief Minister came here and with the Chief Minister of Kerala commemorated the centenary of the Vaikom Satyagraha or the agitation. Essentially, protest for equal rights. I am, though born relatively privileged, both in terms of the social community as well as financially or economically, I am very proud to be the 4th generation of my family that has been in the social justice movement. After my great-grandfather's generation were among the founders of the Justice Party, followed then by my grandfather, who otherwise was beyond being wealthy, an Oxford-educated inner temple barrister who gave up the law to work for the public my father after him, who was also a very successful lawyer who gave up his profession to work for the public. And I'm very grateful that after 30 years overseas doing many other things, I'm able to come and the public are happy to have me work for them. So some of it is unique to our history. But there's a more profound reason we need social change, or continuously to think about social change. Because if you let capitalism run its natural course, it is bound to result in increasing inequality every single time. And this happens by the nature of capitalism, that there are going to be some winners, sometimes some very big winners, and a lot of people who get left behind. It's okay, it's better than any other form of market functioning that we know. But therefore, it is in the design of democracy, it is in the nature of how elections are run, how votes or rights for votes are distributed, how people are selected and how governments are formed, and why we have things like legislative bodies that are continuously trying to improve the structure of society, the form of interaction, because that's what the job of government in a democracy is. It is to prevent runaway disparity, where you have a few people worth hundreds of billions who control the economy. You end up with an oligopoly or a monopoly, and you end up with a lot of people left behind. So at the core of democracy, at the core of government's role in a democracy is the notion of keeping level playing fields, equitable access, equitable opportunities. And of course, the outcomes are still going to be disparate. There is no way in a capitalist system that you can get equitable outcomes. That's not our job. Our job is to keep society relatively integrated, to keep the system in a way that nobody feels that they have no stake in the system or in the society, and to ensure that the rule of law, a calm environment without strife continues and persists, so that people can advance in their own ways, with their own talent, with their own creativity. In that sense, I would say the notion of inclusion is now very well agreed upon by everybody. There's no question that inclusion is the basis for any decent outcome in any society, at least in a democracy where we all pretend, at least on day one, or sign up for the faith that we are all equal, all our votes are worth the same. So in that sense, inclusion has been, I would say, the secret, the single biggest driver of relatively good outcomes in places like Kerala and Tamil Nadu relative to other parts of India. If we look around the country, there's no question whether you take human development indices, social development indices, per capita incomes, education levels, access to healthcare, infant mortality rates. You pick any statistic, Kerala does extremely well. Tamil Nadu does almost as well in some and better in others. But if you take Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and broadly the South, relative to many, many parts of the country, the North, the East, we do much, much, much better. And at the core of it, in my view, is inclusion, is because everybody gets into the system, everybody has access to decent healthcare, everybody gets access to decent education, and we move from there in terms of relatively well-developed society. And in that continuing vein, I would say inclusion really should have two components to it. One, what I said earlier about a level playing field, about equitable access, about equitable opportunity. And the other, because you will never be able to get equitable outcomes, you must have some component where those who are left behind, those who are not getting as far ahead, those who are at any point because of health, because of some eventuality we had not planned on, or because they didn't have access to the level of education in some small village relative to, let's say, Chennai or Trivandrum or Kochi, they may need some additional support from us. So the job of the government, I would say, keep a level playing field and make sure you find those most in need at any point in time. Some may be for long periods, some may be for short periods, and find a way to bring them up to be able to play on the same field, because they cannot do it without the government support. And I was thinking about a few aspects in which this is very important, in fact, vital. And I would say the first is education. And I say education first because of the institution I'm standing in. But equitable access to knowledge is by far the greatest driver of eventual outcomes in the world. And if you look at, in the case of Tamil Nadu, when I'm asked what is one of the biggest reasons or most important reasons why Tamil Nadu is such a developed state, about 5.8% of the population, close to 10% of India's GDP, I say it's because in 1921, the Justice Party government legislated compulsory elementary education for boys and girls in 1921. That's what inclusion means, that you bring everybody into the system, irrespective of gender, community, location, etc. In the case of this institution, you did something similar, except in those days you did it by remote learning. You sent material out, people learned, they took exams. I mean, in my own town, in Madurai, we had one of the biggest distance education centers in India under the Madurai Kamaraj University. And in all of their programs, whether it was the main intent or not, certainly one of the benefits was inclusion. But now you think about the way distance education gets done, and in every one of these aspects, you can see how technology has changed the game. So if there was pre-internet, the notion of dispatching papers, dispatching notes, getting back answer papers, getting them evaluated, in the era of the internet, all this happens instantaneously. And it can be done by anybody from anywhere, and it's really the quality of the content you have. In fact, I'll go one step further. In this day and age, if one really wanted to study, one can get the equivalent of a PhD in physics, let's say, very relatively complicated subject, without having to pay a single dollar or a rupee to anybody for anything. That's how much information there is. It's not easy to find. It's not easy to shape your own, education course. But if access is the key, then the internet has greatly leveled the playing field. You can get the equivalent of a PhD in physics from MIT, just sitting in your house with a computer if you have access to the internet. And so one of the things that we think about a lot in Tamil Nadu, my chief minister, in terms of inclusion, is to ensure that educational opportunities reach places through access, not just through our admission system. And that's why we have invested so heavily, like Kerala has in KFON, but in our case, we call it TANFINET, Tamil Nadu Fiber Net. And by the middle of this year, we will have all 12,600 and odd villages of Tamil Nadu integrated into a broadband fiber network. And we will offer at 200 rupees a month to every house access to internet and mainly access to video speed kind of connectivity through fiber. Now, non-disruptive video feed is probably the single biggest differentiator in terms of education, and that's something we learned in the COVID era, that no amount of text or podcasts or any of these things comes close to having education through video instruction. And so ideally it's two-way, that you can actually interact with somebody, but if you cannot, one-way video instruction is by far the number one most efficient way of transmitting knowledge. And so this is our way of doing that. Another place that technology can make a big difference is in the employment prospects. Now, every state is different. In Tamil Nadu, we do relatively well in attracting capital. And so, we are still a huge net exporter of human capital, but nowhere near what Kerala is. Kerala is probably, ratio-wise, one of the biggest net exporters of human capital. Relatively little investment gets done here. again, by ratio. But in the age of technology, one of the things that is greatly enabling of employment, especially after COVID, where the notion of work from home has become very common, is again to have high-speed internet access to every village, every remote area. And in fact, this is not only a developing country or a kind of, what can I say, state-by-state solution. One of the most successful companies in tech in the world is an Australian company called Atlassian. And their entire model is that everybody works from home. They only have a social kind of construct where they know how often to bring how many people together in what ways and have compulsory human interactions and meetings and reviews and things like that. But the norm is that 95% of the employees work from home, and they're developing some of the most sophisticated software products in the world, including the products that help people work remotely in a joint project. Another way I think technology makes a big difference is in terms of the health management. In Tamil Nadu, we have great pride that we educate per capita the highest number of doctors in the country. At this point, I think we have roughly 4 doctors for every 1,000 people, which is 4 times better than the United States, where they only have 1 doctor for 1,000 people. But if, and I said this when I was finance minister, if you ask me, are we getting the benefit of the money we spend in the healthcare sector? The answer is definitely not. We have not enough knowledge, not enough connectivity, not enough data. And so one of the things we found is that we should take a barbell approach to these 2 things. If it is a non-communicable disease, if it is routine kind of medication, physiotherapy, anything that is not complicated and repetitive, then we don't want patients coming into the centers. We want the staff of the government to go to the houses and deliver this. And this program, which has now won acclaim all over the world, which we call Makkalai Thedi Maruthuvam, where the medicine finds the person rather than the person finds the medicine. So that takes care of, let's say, the bulk of the non-incident-driven, non-illness-driven, regular healthcare treatment. But what about from the primary to the secondary to the tertiary healthcare centers? There we are embarking on a massive technology platform so we can do what other societies have figured out, which is how many CT scans are being done, where are they being done, how many of them are leading to what results, how many X-ray machines are working, how many doctors show up at work, how many patients are seen in hospital X compared to hospital Y. The kinds of statistics and analyses that helped developed countries greatly improve the delivery of the healthcare services. I think we have been too slow to adopt, and we are investing a lot in both a universal patient record system so that somebody who goes to a village primary health center and asks for a problem to be looked at then gets referred to a district tertiary center or ends up changing homes within the state. Their record should be portable with them and should be accessible to the public health system with the right privacy and constraints to ensure that they don't have to, they're not always well-learned people. Not everybody has good record-keeping systems themselves. The state should know. And if the state actually has good records, I'll come back to this later, things like AI can make a huge difference as long as the records are actually properly tagged and maintained electronically for later analysis. Another area where I think technology can greatly improve the economic activity of the state is through enabling equitable and smooth access to government support for entrepreneurs, for businessmen, for traders. And increasingly in our last 3.5 years of government, almost 4 years now, we have moved more and more services online, including all the MSME support, where you don't need to go to a center, you don't need to travel to a district headquarters. You sit in your house, go check the website of the MSME department, and from applying for your subsidies, loans, anything you want, licenses, you can actually do this from home and greatly improve the ease of doing business. In fact, this broadband network will also leverage a lot of the micro and small industries who will be able to now both access e-markets for their procurement as well as sell their goods on universal platforms like our national digital interface and the India stack. The thing that I've worked a lot on since I came to this ministry is to make sure that access to the government is equitable to all. Now, many of you may have better experiences than the average, but one of the things I discovered, even when I was in finance, is that a lot of governments around the world, but also India, are effectively failing slowly. That is to say, the amount of infrastructure investment into government functions and services has not kept up with the complexity, the scale, the demands of what really should be done. There's many macroeconomic indicators to prove this point. Most governments, for example, have greatly increased their debt ratios because less and less of their spending is coming from revenue and more of it is coming from borrowing. It's also true that most governments are incapable of doing really high quality public goods and services. And so more and more of government spending is going out as direct benefit transfers and subsidies to individuals rather than building better hospitals, better bridges, better roads, better universities. So in this context, back when I was in finance, I'd already made a decision that the state should not be in the business of building any more office buildings, if at all possible. We have reached the end where as I said, one way is for the state to reach the people. The other way is for the people to reach the state online and never need to physically move and come and attend any kind of office for any kind of certificate. So in Tamil Nadu, we had something called the e-service centers, which I think they have everywhere in the country. We greatly expanded the number of services that you can get electronically without having to physically visit an office. Hundreds and hundreds of things, from your driving license, your certificates, your ration card, registration of your property. All of these things are now able to be done online. And we increased the number of such centers from a few thousand to almost 30,000 centers. Our ambition is that everybody should have one center within a kilometer if they live in an urban area, and within 5 kilometers if they live in a rural area, even if they don't have a computer at home. And what these centers do, they have fixed rate, 30 rupees or 60 rupees, that's it. And for this rate, you basically get all these services. And since the state is not particularly efficient in running these centers, we started offering them to entrepreneurs. And about 20,000 centers are run by small business entrepreneurs who we helped arrange the financing for, should they ask for it. And from there, we have got at least a few lakh applications every month coming in, all the way from Aadhaar changes or applications, all the way to registration of property that is happening online. We also changed the government's functioning to completely e-office from physical file movement. I was finance minister, among other things. I was minister for finance, pensions, planning, development, personnel, administrative reforms. In 2 years, I processed about 7,000 files. Now, there's no human being that can imagine all those 7,000 files in their memory and remember the contents of every file. But once it's electronic, anytime, any day, I can go and pull up and say, what did I do? When was the last time such a file came? Have I been consistent from place to place? And you're actually building institutional memory. The government was lacking institutional memory because by the nature of government, everybody's transient. We get elected every few years. The bureaucrats change every 2-3 years, IAS officers. The lower level people keep getting promoted and changing function. In fact, it's a personnel rule in the state of Tamil Nadu that nobody should be in any post for more than 3 years. Even if you're the same rank, you have to go to a different location. So if the people are not permanent, at least the systems have to be permanent for you to have institutional memory. And without institutional memory, you're basically shooting in the dark every single time. So the use of technology can greatly improve the access of citizens and greatly reduce what are diplomatically called friction costs, were you to go and stand at a physical office and have a lot of implications. Now let me switch to the other side for a minute before I look at the future. What can the government do to support those in need? As I say, it's a core function that government should find those most in need and do something additional, enhanced, to take care of them. One of the programs we have in Tamil Nadu, which I think all states have, is something called the old age pension. So if we find especially women living alone or without support or without children who can take care of them, after a certain age, they're entitled to a monthly pension. That's one of the better schemes that we have. It has some limitations, but broadly a very good scheme. So back when I was in finance, we commissioned a study to see, are the intended beneficiaries actually getting these benefits? And it turned out that up to the second lowest level of need, they were actually pretty good hit rates. The people who needed it the most were the ones we were missing. The reason we were missing them is they need to apply for the benefit to get the benefit. For them to apply, either they have to know somebody who can tell them that the scheme exists, or they must otherwise be in the flow of information to know the scheme exists. Then they must know how to fill in an application form. Then they must know how to get it processed. Well, all of those things are the biggest limitations for the poorest, most destitute, oldest, least technology savvy people. So the intent of the program surely should be the reverse. I want to start from those most in need, and as much money as I have, I want to come up here. In fact, the program is going the other way. It will start from those who can access it most, and then it stops at the place where people don't know how to access it. So we started deciding back then, about 4 years ago, that from now on, the state should be able to pre-select, predetermine, pre-list all those who should be eligible for a benefit. And then we will reach them and say, you are eligible. Have you actually taken advantage of this benefit? And that required a lot of new thinking. We needed to integrate a lot of databases from around, the government basically owns every piece of information you can think of, right? There's good and bad. It has all your certificates, it has all your health records, it has your education, your income if you're a taxpayer, your benefits if you're receiving any, your public distribution system records. All these existed in silos in many places. If you put them together, you can start creating comprehensive kind of perspectives of families, of individuals, of their status. The risk, of course, is that you don't want Big Brother. You don't want the state to know too many things about too many people, especially if they can be used as weapons politically, as some places do. So within the framework of keeping privacy, we started building what we call a single state family database, where we started integrating all these records, and we started identifying people who were eligible and making it easy for them by notifying them or allowing them to do by e-service what otherwise would have done physical service. So for example, all those receiving pensions in the state of Tamil Nadu have to once a year produce something called a life certificate. It says, I'm still alive, I'm not passed. Now, of course, if my death records were perfect, I would know ahead of time, but because the system has all kinds of lags and death records are maintained at the local body and they're not always integrated properly to the state, which is the dispenser, has a disconnect. But in the old days, it required once a year, somebody old, by definition, a pensioner is old relative to society, has to physically find their way to a government office, produce a medical doctor certificate that they are still who they say they are and they're still breathing, basically saying they're alive. It's not a complicated certificate. And then have it registered in the system. And only after that, their next pension, the next 12 months pension payments would be valid. So we turned that around on its head and we said, if somebody can be visibly seen as alive and identified through something, through some biometric or some other way, then that is a life certificate as far as we're concerned. So we signed up with, and this was when I was in finance, we signed up with the Post Bank, the Indian Post Office banking system, and we set up a model that says every time their certificate is due, the postman goes to their house. Great luxury, single year this was failing. Now everything is electronic. We just send the money, we don't wait for any of these validations. And the whole point of these scholarships for those in need is that they should get it when they need it, not that they should get it 6 months late, 3 months late, 1 year late. The whole point of the spending is lost. So we are able to do these kinds of things, not just for students. We do it for farmers. We have integrated databases now, where all the way from crop records, land ownership records, subsidies for fertilizers, subsidies for seed, access to crop insurance or filing for crop insurance, access to e-markets. All of these happen on one database. And so we've started using technology to make all these programs beneficiary-centric rather than department-centric or budget-centric. Oh, it's my money, it's your money, it's this money, it's that money. And I think this is just the beginning. If we're really smart, somewhere between women, health, and children, we should be able to integrate these family databases in the sense that right from when the registration of a pregnancy happens, and the state of Tamil Nadu, like Kerala, does many things, provides additional nutrition, provides free scans, provides some other benefits, pre-birth, post-birth, all these things. But right from the registration of the pregnancy and the first scan, all the way to a college graduate, we should have a beneficiary-centric database where the state actually steps up and delivers. And the best part about all these schemes, the best part is it greatly increases the efficiency of spending and it greatly reduces the wastage. And most of us are running deficit financing states, and that's the truth across India. It's only likely to become more so if we end up more and more kind of direct benefits as is happening over the world. And so the efficiency, if you spend a rupee, what percentage of it actually reaches the target or the intent of your spending, that is greatly, greatly enhanced by technology. And we can see that even in things like disaster relief, once we have enough information about who is living where and who has been affected how much, we are able to process disaster relief much more quickly, timely, and efficiency of actual delivery. I'll say that we are only scratching the surface. I think there are 2 or 3 really interesting technologies that I believe will profoundly improve all of these aspects that I've talked about, from citizen access to level playing field to protection of the weakest or the most vulnerable. And the first I would say is linking all information to geographical information systems. So in Tamil Nadu, we have a big initiative called TNGIS, and we're basically from every survey number of every property in Tamil Nadu to every crop record in Tamil Nadu, we are now starting to geotag them or geofence them so we know ahead of time what is happening where, and when claims are processed or when we have to do assessments, like I used to be Minister for Economics and Statistics, the way GDP calculations for the country are done, there is no national database. Every state does its own calculation, then you all send it up and it gets integrated. How does the state do it? If you want to look at agricultural output, the state goes and samples a certain number of fields and decides what is the likely production of these fields and then does extrapolation to the broader planted area and things like that. So a lot of these calculations and a lot of this accuracy of the data will get greatly enhanced, not just through the use of GIS one time, but because GIS again provides you continuity. This place can only be this place. So next time I know exactly what last time was, and I know how to assess the two, especially with kind of image processing and machine learning with images. The other, I think, is blockchain. One of the problems with the state is that we have all the information and most people come to us for copies. So every time they need another copy, they need another, community certificate, they need an income certificate, they need some degree certificate from some university, let's assume it's a state university or a duplicate. This is just an unnecessary kind of inefficiency. I must mention in the course of efficiency that when I was an opposition MLA, on average, every department in the state of Tamil Nadu had about 30% vacancy. That is, if there are 100 sanctioned jobs, about 70 were filled. I thought this was unique to Tamil Nadu, but it's not. Every state in the country, the government of India, the Union government of India, has roughly the same ratio. Now, there's many factors that go into it. I don't want to enter into a political debate or a minefield, but the fact is that number is now 40%. So it was 30% 5 years ago, is now 40%, and the trend is only going one way. You're going to find fewer and fewer human beings actually being employed as government employees in any aspect. I'm saying from professors down to office assistants. So the more you make a process self-service, the more you make a process without human intervention, the more you make a process without travel requirements, not only are you making it more inclusive and more accessible, you're actually increasing the efficiency and the functioning of government and the delivery of services. And in that sense, we have invested now in a blockchain platform and e-wallets for all citizens, where you can have your driver's license, your degree certificates, your certification of skill for employment, all of these in your own digital wallet, and you can supply them whenever you apply as many copies you want. You don't need one physical copy. You just have this available. And one of the other advantages that it reduces the government's kind of stranglehold on data. The last big thing I think that technology is going to do, it's starting to do it, there's still a whole lot to come, is that if we were to truly digitalize all the data we have and put it into a place where we could access the immense computing power that is now available through things like GPUs and quantum computing, AI is going to be transformative of the way government works and the way it interacts with citizens and the way it increases the efficiency of government spending. We are at the leading edge of it. We use AI for a few things now, for things like school attendance, as I told you, for digital life certificates. We use it for predicting certain climate models. But the more data we give it and the more it learns, the more transformative this is going to be. And I often say that my vision of the ultimate definition of equitable access or inclusion is that anybody who is eligible for a particular scheme of the government of Tamil Nadu should be able to get on a phone call, just a voice call, no smartphone, no nothing, voice call, say, I am so-and-so, I want to know, am I eligible for XYZ? And the state should be able to process that with interactive feedback to the point where the answer is yes or no. And if the answer is yes, then the money should be deposited into the account of that person without having a single human being intervene anywhere in the process. That to me is equitable because you don't need to have a smartphone, you don't need to be computer educated, you don't even need to be literate, though Kerala, Tamil Nadu, we don't have that problem. But if you can speak and speak your language, not English, Tamil or Malayalam or Kannada or whatever it is, that you should be able to get 100% processing without human intervention to resolution. Now, there'll be failures. Those can be looked at as exceptions. But I don't think we're very far from that. In my view, if we do our data right, sometime in the next 5 to 10 years, we will be at that place where technology will basically completely transform the way government works, the way inclusion is guaranteed, and the core function, as I say, of having a level playing field, of having support for those who need to be lifted to play on that field, all those things I think will be greatly transformed. So in conclusion, let me say that in my understanding of democracy and the notion of a republic, inclusion, equitable access, and the structure of society which needs to be constantly changing to deal with whatever other changes are happening in our society. Now we have a lot of problems with cybercrime, or we have a lot of problems with fraud, because of increased technology. Then we need to have legislation for it. Then we need to have support for it. Then we need to have proper kind of, resolution for it. So we will continuously need to structure or change the structure of society, and therefore both social change and inclusion will continue to be at the forefront of delivering an equitable and therefore harmonious and a functional democracy. In that sense, I would say technology, in my mind, is going to be the single biggest kind of tool, the single biggest multiplier, the single biggest efficient, outcome generator. And in the early days, we're already starting to see tremendous impact. My best guess is that in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be a huge amount of transformation, and it will make life better, it will make society better, it will make our democracy better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking speech emphasizing how information technology can drive both inclusion and efficiency, transforming education, healthcare, governance, and preserving institutional memory. We have now come to the end of this solemn function. We invite Dr. Indu Nair, Group Director, SCMS Group of Educational Institutions, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning to everyone present here. Respected Dr. Palanivel Thiaga Rajan, Minister of Information Technology and Digital Services, Government of Tamil Nadu. Dr. GPC Nair, Chairman, SCMS Group. Professor Pradeep P. Thevannoor, Vice Chairman. Dr. Radha Thevannoor, Dr. Baiju Radhakrishnan, Dr. Praveen Sal CJ, Group Directors of SCMS. Respected Heads of Institutions of SCMS Group, distinguished invitees and guests, members of media, students, ladies and gentlemen. As we stand at the crossroad of reflection and anticipation, celebrating 50 glorious years of SCMS Group of Educational Institution, it is my profound honor to offer the vote of thanks on this truly momentous occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. We are deeply grateful to our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Palanivel Thiaga Rajan, Hon'ble Minister of Information Technology and Digital Services, Government of Tamil Nadu. Sir, your insight and expertise have truly captivated our audience, offering invaluable perspectives on how the transformative potential of information technology extends far beyond business efficiency or digital innovation. You have illuminated how IT can address deep-seated social inequalities and foster inclusive growth by bridging divides in education, healthcare, governance, and economic opportunities. You mentioned that by using technology like blockchain and AI, linking all information to a GIS and instructions to and initiatives like e-wallets, the kind of information processing that can be done will be not only be efficient, but provide consistency and efficient governance. Your words have left an enduring impact on everyone present at the 5th annual edition of Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor Commemorative Lecture. As a token of our appreciation and gratitude, we wish to offer a memento to you, sir. Would like to call upon Professor Pradeep P. Thevannoor, Vice Chairman, SCMS Group, to do the honors. A heartfelt thanks to our visionary leadership led by Dr. GPC Nair, the founder chairman of SCMS Group, as well as our dedicated faculty and committed staff who have tirelessly held the standards and values that define SCMS over the years. To our students, both past and present, you are the embodiment of our dreams, carrying forward the torch of excellence into the future. I would like to place on record our sincere thanks to Sri Ravi DC, CEO of DC Books, and Mr. Manoj K. Das, editor of Mathrubhumi, for their valuable support in making it possible to have our esteemed chief guest here at the SCMS campus for this significant event. Finally, to all of you gathered here, thank you very much. Thank you for being part of this landmark moment as we launch the 50th anniversary celebration and honor the legacy of Dr. Pradeep P. Thevannoor. Your presence is a testament to the strength of SCMS family. Together, we are not merely commemorating a milestone, we are laying the foundation for the next chapter of our extraordinary journey. A special note of appreciation goes to everyone who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make today's celebration a seamless blend of reflection and aspiration. Your efforts have turned this occasion into a masterpiece of memories. Let us continue to stay connected and work together to shape the next 50 years with the same passion and commitment. May the celebrations continue to inspire us all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's end the day's proceeding with the singing of National Anthem. Please rise for the National Anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, and we warmly invite all the guests to join us outside the venue for tea and snacks. Thank you all once again and wish you all a very good day.